Welcome back, everybody, to another video. We're doing the wide receiver rankings for fantasy football. So what do we think they're going to be ranked in terms of where they should be placed on your roster? Draft position will be determined later, but this is just where we think they're going to fall over the course of the season. So let's get into that. I already got the first part here set up. We have the top tier. These are the people that you'll probably be drafting in like first round, early second round. People here who I think they're going to be gone. Obviously, starting off with Ja'Marr Chase, he outperformed everyone by far. I mean, he ended the year with 377.4. The next one was St. Brown, who ended with, I think, maybe 300 points. So, obviously, he's here. Justin Jefferson, who was just above 300. He was at 309. Obviously, JJ and St. Brown, same idea. Again, I'm worried about St. Brown just because of the fact of, again, no offensive coordinator change, plus star center change. Little concerned about how well Goff's protection is going to be, how much time he's going to have. Brian Thomas, obviously the one in Jacksonville, no question about it. CeeDee Lamb, obviously the one in Dallas. I am concerned that the numbers will dip a little bit because Pickens will physically demand the ball more. Not that he's going to like, oh, we're using your weapon. I think they're physically he's going to be like, I need the ball more, and that might take away from CD. Neighbors, they really did improve that wide receiver room, so it's still him. It's a different quarterback. If it's Russell Wilson, or James Winston, someone's going to throw the ball a ton, so this is great. And then Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel's going to draw a little bit of the balls away, but he's not going to. I don't think he interferes too much in terms of what Scary Terry does in the first place. So I think he's still a great pick. But these were the top scoring receivers. Actually, technically, there was one above them that I didn't put. And he will be in probably the next or second or third one here, and I'll explain why once we get there. But currently, that's where we sit. All right, so let's go over this really quickly. We're going to start with the mid-tier ones. Obviously, Garrett Wilson put up pretty good numbers last year. I foresee that sticking around, especially because Fields throws heavily to his one and his tight end. So I think Wilson should still put up great numbers, especially in a... If they play to Fields' strengths and run options, read options, short throws, he should be fine. Cooper Kupp going to versus Seattle, still a very reliable option. I think him and Sam Darnold will do pretty well together. I did put Rashid Rice here in a mid one. I expect him to start to take over that wide receiver one role a bit more here and start to excel, provided, again, he's healthy, he looks okay. A.J. Brown was phenomenal last year. He played pretty well in terms of receivers. He's up there. And then same thing for these later round picks here that are now obviously high and mid ones you'll be looking at. Jude is clearly cemented ones on their team. London, you're still waiting for it. He kind of had peaks and valleys last year, but I still think he's going to be a higher level receiver going into this. And Smith-Njigba is the one who I moved down. So Smith-Njigba was somebody who was very good. He was actually supposed to be in this top line here in terms of past years. But with the addition to Cooper Kupp, I think that draws away a little bit from him. A bit. But obviously, I don't know if that's the case. These two might become interchangeable. But with that being said, these two, self-explanatory. Self-explanatory between these two. They were fantastic. As long as they're both healthy, they're fantastic. I did put Metcalf on here because with Rodgers just being signed, I think Metcalf might be able to move into a mid one, but he wasn't looking good in Seattle really much anymore, and I can't put him any higher than this, and I don't think he's a 2. I don't think you can say he's a 2 because he's the biggest weapon size Freiermuth in receiving game that Rodgers has. If he's the starter of Steelers. With that being said, I expect Marvin Harrison to have a better year this year. He was probably down to these two. I think he'll be a reliable starter option. I just don't know where he'll fall in terms of these three. As I just do that, it just decides, hey, we're going to move the graph. Thanks, computer. It just did it again. Bro, this is annoying me. I'm leaving all this in there because it's funny as well. See me. On Dunze, probably going to become the one in Chicago. There's just a lot of mouths to feed, so I could see him moving down one. Addison, again, I think he was pretty good here. I don't think he's going to suffer any more than he did. I just think, if anything, I think McCarthy's going to use him more. And then Davante being moved over to the Rams, I think he'll be behind Puka in the sense of depth chart, but I think he's going to get more touchdown catches than Puka does. But that's just my opinion there. All right, so I actually made some changes here. We put another bottom row here. I threw in Puka Nacua up here because obviously he probably will be ahead of Davante Adams. But I still, until it's proven which one Stafford's going to actually throw to more in touchdown situations, in my opinion, I think it goes there. Keon Coleman I put up here, as well as Shakir. The other one will probably be in the midsection, but I can't tell you because Coleman didn't play a lot to start, but came on late in the year. Around the same time, Shakir started to kind of fall off a little bit. Stephon Diggs, obviously probably the obvious number one for May in the Patriots, and I think he'll do fine provided he's healthy. Collins is really the only healthy receiver for Texans now that I thought about it, so obviously he's there. I didn't want to put their other guys they draft down here because I'm not sure which rookie's going to go where. So I could see them going around one of these two. I just don't know who it's going to be, and I didn't want to throw one on there and be like, oh, it's the other one. No. Zay Flowers obviously going to be the one in Baltimore. I think I'll still be a high-end 2. I don't think he's something you want to comfortably say he's your 1, but I think he'd be a high-end. You'd be like, oh, it's wide receiver 2. And, yeah. And Shakir Downs, I think, is going to reemerge as the number 1 in... If he wasn't already, he's going to emerge as the number 1 in Indy. Golden, obviously, I think is going to be the number 1 for Green Bay because they really don't take receivers. And the other 2 that are really on here are Wicks, who's down here, who I think should do pretty well. Watson's on here. Reed's on here. I think Wicks or Reed is going to probably have a good one this year. But moving on to the mid 2 here. Pretty simple here. They're ones for their team, but really both of them can be overthrown pretty easily. Pickens is the 2, and he's going to be, well, probably petty and demand the ball, so he's probably going to be up there a little higher. Chris Olave is the 1 for his team, but again, I don't know throwing to the football, so I can't say you're going to be great. Deebo Samuel, obviously a 2. DeAndre Hopkins will probably end up being a 2 if he starts to come into form. If not, I think this is probably the last year you can say he's probably somebody worth drafting. T. Higgins, obviously the 2. Probably could be here. He's less likely to repeat his numbers. Calvin Ridley, obviously the 1 in, give me a second, it's going to come to me. Tennessee with Ward. I think he's going to get a lot of ball. Ward's going to throw him a lot. JMO, they're very high on JMO having a better season this year. I agree with it. I just can't comfortably say he's going to be a high-end 2 if I'm saying St. Brown's a top-tier person. So if I was going to, if I bumped St. Brown 1 down 1, JMO could probably go up 1. But I don't think they're both going to have great numbers. Alright, so Wicks and Reed, interchangeable here. One of them might drop to a flex. If I have to guess, it's probably Wicks over Reed, but Waddle obviously didn't have a great season last year. You lost your best protector for Tua, so I don't see those numbers improving unless Ewers comes in and starts hawking the ball like a madman. Darnell Mooney, they said they want to get Darnell Mooney more involved in the Atlanta offense, and I agree with it. He already put up great numbers, but he was good for about a 6-week stretch and then fell off. So it was like he was awful for weeks 1, 2, 3, I think it was. Had about 6 weeks, including a bye in there, I think, and then he was just non-existent. So I really can't say you're going to be higher, but you were someone I could comfortably say I'd probably start because there's a pretty good chance he'll do well. That is, you have Beck from the Raiders. Obviously, he's going to be the 1, in my opinion, behind Myers. I didn't put Myers on this list because I'm not exactly sure where he'd fall. If I have to think, I'm assuming I put both of them in mid 2. I really don't trust a lot of Oakland, they're in Vegas now, Vegas receivers. And then I also put on here Future McMillan. Probably going to be the 1 in the Panthers offense, but Leggett's on here as a low flex to 2 because I think his numbers are going to improve because he's got another year he's already had the year to bond with Bryce Young. Looking at 2s here, Mike Williams obviously the 2 in a run-heavy offense, not expecting much. Pittman's 2 to 3. Deontay Smith is 2, and again, look like crap. Tyreek Hill is technically the 1, but I see Waddle becoming the 1, and Tyreek being, either traded or not on there. If he's traded, his number might shoot, depending on where he goes. Worthy, he didn't look, with all of the injuries, he wasn't as star of a player as he needed to be for me to say, yep, I can say you're a mid 2. Like, you had Rice out, you had Hollywood out, you had Kelsey who was in and out, and you still couldn't produce 1 numbers. I can't say that you're the one. Watson, I don't see him even being on the team by the end of the year, so I can't put him higher than a 2 to flex, because I don't know where he's going to be. He's probably not going to have a large role in Green Bay. I don't see him coming back. I don't see Green Bay wanting to sign him, and I don't see him... If he goes somewhere, I can see his numbers being higher, but I just don't know where he would go, who would actually go trade for him at this point. Lockett is listed as the 2 in Tennessee. So, he might be a reliable option for a check down to Ward. And Lockett consistently will put up decent numbers. He just won't get a ton of yards or touchdowns. A lot of catches, though. PPR, he won't be higher. Bateman, same thing. Boomer bust kind of thing. And then I already said, like, get there. If I scroll down just a little bit, they gave me another list of people here. By the way, this is Tank Dell, who you can't see, who's currently not even going to be on the list because I don't know. I'm not sure where we stand with Brown in terms of where he's going to play. Allen, I can't comfortably say he's going to be an effective weapon wherever he ends up, because if I'm not mistaken, he's currently not signed anywhere. Dotson, same thing. Along with Curtis Samuel, I think he's in Buffalo. He was a really non-factor last year. Christian Kirk, I think he's with the Texans now, and even then, I still can't say that it's going to be an effective thing. Cooks, I don't think he's signed anywhere. I don't know where Amari Cooper signed at. Off the top of my head, I think someone signed him late, but I can't say he's going to be one. Donnie Mitchell really wasn't a factor last year. And then Deontay Johnson, I think he's on the Browns, and he hasn't shown up to anything yet, so that explains why I don't think he's going to be anything. But currently, that's the tier list teams. Everybody, of course, currently I'm covering Ja'Marr Chase and Garrett Wilson. But, I mean, a lot of the people I think are going to repeat just because of what they did. But there's some people on here, like these two, this one, these two, this one, and Marvin Harrison, who could go either way. But I foresee them having better seasons than they did prior to that, just because QBs have another year under the belt. They got to get another year in the belt, or they're going to a older QB who's been in the league glove, in that case, who might be able to show them some stuff. So, I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know if you guys agree with me or not, because frankly, I can understand where some of these takes are but it's my opinion. So, I appreciate you guys for watching. Come back for the tight ends. Have fun.